Welcome to Today in Rocket Science. I'm Adam Balkin. The push for science, technology, engineering, and math education continues as President Obama advocates for increasing computer science education in schools across the country. We'll have more on that in a minute, but first. In this episode, we'll see how history and STEM intertwine as we take a look at the largest dinosaur fossil ever found and check out how students are drawing inspiration from history in their high school masonry class. We'll get the scoop on chemistry in the kitchen and later check out how drones are making a high-speed entrance into the world of sports. All that and more in this episode of It Ain't Rocket Science, part of Time Warner Cable's Connect a Million Minds initiative, aimed at connecting you to science, technology, engineering, and math opportunities in your community. All right, now back to the president's push for coding education. Our Anthony Pascal has the latest.
President Obama reiterated his commitment to STEM education in his State of the Union address this year, and in an announcement this month, unveiled his plan to give all students across the country a chance to learn computer science in school.
Now we have to make sure all our kids are equipped for the jobs of the future, which means not just being able to work with computers, but developing the analytical and coding skills to power our innovation economy. Workers of all kinds need to be able to figure out how to break a big problem into smaller pieces and identify the right steps to solve it. In the new economy, computer science isn't an optional skill, it's a basic skill.
Computer science isn't currently a required part of the curriculum in schools across the country. President Obama's proposal designates $4 billion to states in this year's budget to increase access to K-12 computer science by training teachers, expanding access to instructional materials, and building partnerships with regional organizations committed to coding education. One group heeding the president's words is Code.org. The organization helped introduce coding to a school in the New York City neighborhood of Harlem, and we caught up with a special education class there that's wasting no time learning the foundations of computer science.
Code is kind of something that challenges you, and it's something that you can get fun out of and education out of.
It gives your brain a challenge, and you can either code by yourself or with your friends to work together to solve a problem.
It has been extremely beneficial for them. I love hearing when we're doing coding like, oh, I did it. I haven't even lost once. They just feel very successful at it, and some aspects of learning is sometimes challenging for them, but this is a really great booster for them, and it's building a lot of self-confidence. It's also been a really important for girls because girls typically don't tend to go into the math or the science world, and I think girls are really understanding that they can go into that world, and they're really enjoying it now.
Kickstarting a love for coding that could land them a career in tomorrow's advanced tech economy. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Anthony Pascal.
California is well known for its Silicon Valley, but many people don't know that New York City is where computer science all began. Our Stephanie Simon checks out an exhibit all about the Silicon City.
This new exhibit at the New York Historical Society is called Silicon City, Computer History Made in New York. Yes, it's a bit of a jab at California's tech hub, Silicon Valley. But as you'll see, the museum makes its case. The major milestones are here.
First ones were actually in the 19th century. Telegraph, Samuel Morse, Bell Telephone Company, and development of the telephone, and also the development of the light bulb, which became the vacuum tube, which became what all computers worked on. All here.
And you can see the computers that were developed in the 1940s by IBM and others. A lot of great things here. Give us some of the highlights.
Well, one of the great highlights is the Telstar. If you look straight up, this was the satellite that made space television communication possible. And it's one of the original ones that we found using Google, actually.
Of course they used Google, but before Google, we called people. Remember the rotary phone? Also developed here.
The rotary phone and the phone that came after it was a way of dealing with phone calling where you didn't have to call up the operator.
And before there was FaceTime, Skype, or Google Hangouts, there was the video phone back in 1964.
Problem was, it cost too much to make a call, and it just didn't take off.
Like so many cutting-edge technologies, it was presented at the World's Fair in Queens.
The New York World's Fair introduced computers to everyday people.
The exhibit runs through April, and when you look up the hours of the New York Historical Society on your smartphone, just remember, it all began here. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Stephanie Simon.
Another New York institution made history recently, this time with a monumental addition. Bree Driscoll introduces us to the Titanosaur, the American Museum of Natural History's newest resident.
3, 2, 1.
Huge, cool, and awesome.
That was the general consensus at the American Museum of Natural History as the Titanosaur was unveiled. It's the first permanent dino added to the museum in 20 years. And at 122 feet long, the specimen is almost 30 feet longer than the great blue whale, making it the largest object in the entire museum.
This is the only one, it's the first one, and very few places in the world will have it. And you know, he's so exciting, he's so awesome. He's going to join the pantheon of museum icons.
The enormous cast is too large to fit in one room at the museum, so its head peeks out to welcome visitors to the fossil floor. It took 6 months to create the cast, which is based on 84 excavated bones and is the only one in the United States. Discovered in Argentina in 2014, this guy belongs to the Titanosaur category of super large dinosaurs and is so new that scientists haven't named it yet.
This discovery is the first time that we have a fairly complete skeleton of a gigantic dinosaur. So for the first time we will be able to understand these giants as living organisms.
A group of fourth graders got the honor of being among the first to see the towering giant.
I saw a new dinosaur. I loved it. I feel really small, and I feel that's like giant. You can just see the head, and it's peeking out. You get really excited, and you think it's just going to be a normal-sized dinosaur, but when you come in, it's just this huge thing.
The Titanosaur Cast is a permanent resident at the museum, and you can see several of the original fossil bones on display through the end of the year. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Bree Driscoll.
It definitely took some engineering know-how to build that Titanosaur replica, but in North Carolina, it's engineering on a bit of a smaller scale, where students are mastering the basics and using history as inspiration in their masonry class.
We basically use like cement to come up with our projects. We read a book called Night, and we just basically got the base of our projects off that.
We started talking about what a monument is and what kind of materials, why do we build them out of bronze or metal or concrete or granite? What's the purpose of that? What's the purpose of having a monument? So that it'll last through time.
After deciding which material worked best to build the memorials, students had to come up with a meaningful design.
I cut out a little plastic styrofoam star and placed it into the cement.
They have to measure concrete, they got to know volume, things like that. And we had to put it to scale.
The class is also inspiring these students to pursue STEM-related career fields when they graduate from high school. Those that pass a rigorous series of tests in this class will be fully credentialed masons.
Masons put together what engineers design.
I can honestly say I improved on my concrete skills. We had to do a lot of measuring, and every time it spilled over, we had to start over again, which kind of got frustrating.
Reinforcing skills worth remembering. For It Ain't Rocket Science, I'm Meg Smith.
All right, we do have to stop here for a quick break, but coming up, we'll check out how chemistry plays a role in what you cook, and later, it's Drone Central as we head to the launch of the 2016 Drone Racing League season. And in Texas, we hear from some students who are incorporating drones into their school science fair project. To find hands-on science, technology, engineering, and math opportunities in your community, visit theconnectory.org, made possible by Time Warner Cable's Connect a Million Minds.